Yeah.
Walter, slow that down a little bit more, bring the cookies down to even a lower shelf. What's an analogy?
An analogy is where you have a comparison that is a explicit or direct comparison. A is as or like B. You must use the word as or like, depending whether it's noun or verb. Whereas a metaphor drops the word as or like out and says A is B. She is as beautiful as a rose. There's a analogy, a simile based on a direct comparison. But go tell that fox. It was said about Herod, which is sort of interesting. Herod is not a fox with a bushy tail and kind of red fur, but actually both of them are slick. And there's the comparison. You shouldn't. The tail and the fur and the four legs are thrown in to give you a sort of humorous picture along the way.
All right, so you say it's analogical in Exodus chapter 20. What's the analogy?
The analogy is between the rhythm of God working and resting and man working and resting. And it is the same Lord who now says 6 days. And he who has made days now asked that those days. So it's context again. But the problem is, if I take context of Genesis 1 and lay that over top of the context of Exodus 20, I must have good reason for doing so, found within the context itself.
I think Moses here is making a biological point too. We human beings have biological limitations, which forces us into the pattern of working 6 24-hour days and taking that 7th 24-hour day to rest. It's all to do with our biology. The agricultural land is a different biology, and therefore God decrees a different Sabbath pattern, 6 years and a 7th year. Is God biologically limited? Not at all. And therefore he can take a completely different time period. But it's a pattern. It's 6 work periods followed by a 7th rest period, and it depends on the biology what that length will be.
Okay, conclusion?
The conclusion is that Exodus 20, verse 9, is another command of God in which he does say that I want you to take some time for rest and for fellowship and restoration of life, because this is a gift that I have given to you. But 6 days are made for you to do all of the work that needs to be accomplished. My reason for saying that is I myself have given you a pattern from my own creative work. And the point then is not the time that is brought across, but rather the fact that God worked and then rested. Man is to work and therefore rest. And the pattern is the analogy.